Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, hello and thank you for tuning in today. I am Vince, and along with me is David, John, and James, and we're your neighborhood's best. How's everybody doing?
Yo.
Fantastic.
Glad to see everyone back. Got some sad news today. Pee Wee Herman has passed away. I know he's done some questionable things and some things that I'm really against and stuff, but to be honest, like, I've loved him my whole damn life, you know, even as an adult. And we'll just keep it at that, you know, he'll be missed. Unless you guys have any words you want to say about him.
Paul Reubens.
Thank you for, you know, the good stuff.
Yeah, he did some okay things.
Yeah.
Should we take a moment of silence?
I think that was the moment of silence right there. You're kind of quiet. Paul.
If I had a 40, I would drop a little bit.
I'd still
man. I grew up with that guy.
I did have. I had his doll. I had his.
Oh yeah.
What did you do with the doll?
Oh, I did took the pants off, but I left the shirt on.
No, and it was cool. Was that the one you pull the string from the back? You would pull the string and it'll say like you know.
Yeah, the big.
Yeah. It was like 12 years old and got. It's like, whoa, shit.
I think the first movie I saw with him was, I think it was like Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
Like that's the first thing, because I'm like, what else movie did I saw?
Tim Burton.
Yeah, Tim Burton. And you know that's funny because I didn't even know it was Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Like I was too young to know who Tim Burton was, right?
Yeah.
I was like just pure Pee Wee.
When you go back and see it, you get it. You know what I mean? Like his.
Yeah. Even Benicio del Toro, right? That's the one.
Right.
Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, that was his first role, a Big Top Pee Wee. It was he was a dog face boy.
In that movie?
He's a dog face boy. Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was his first role.
I didn't know that.
At least I heard that it was his first role.
Really? Is that true?
Yeah, Benicio.
Yeah. He was all make it up. Like, and he looked like the Wolfman, which is kind of funny though, right? Because then he played the Wolfman, I think, later on.
It only makes sense.
Yeah, you're right. He did.
And then
John got told Benicio dirt.
He's like, Kaiser Sose. No, it's like what was I gonna say? No, with the whole Pee Wee Herman thing, even like Tim Burton bringing him back for like Batman and shit. You know, like to be the Penguin's dad. Like I didn't.
I forgot about that.
I never knew like the whole. I'm like, oh, that's right. You know, they knew each other already.
So did you see that too online? Because I used to watch the show. I don't know if like again another DC reference, but the Gotham TV show. And there's a guy that plays the Penguin in it. And then And so in the TV show, Paul Reubens plays his dad in it.
Oh, no way!
So he's in the TV show.
He did in the Tim Burton one.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, so
because I think I stopped watching it after season 1.
No, not the Playhouse.
Yeah, it drops off a little bit.
Pee Wee's
Big Top. Was that one of your first acting jobs?
Yeah.
That was my first
acting job. That's a pretty big deal to be. I bet you thought.
And I was Duke, the dog face boy, man.
You auditioned for Pee Wee Herman himself.
Yes.
Okay. Did you get to know Pee Wee when you worked on?
I did.
When you auditioned for Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Oh man, now I want to
hear from someone else.
Duke. Wow, who would have thought, huh?
Yep.
You look so young. Dude, I think what was that, like 1985? I think probably
89, I think, something like that.
Yeah, it was around there. That's like totally 80s. But you gotta imagine, like, kind of like the art of it back then, like the mentality of it. Like you don't get that kind of good nostalgia like art anymore. Because, like, you know what I mean? Now, especially with the whole AI shit.
Those movies still hold up today too, you know.
1988.
Oh, 88. Well, there we go, friend.
I was close. Yeah. I remember that year because I'm just kidding. I don't. Not that good. So I was doing some cleaning the other day, and I came across this old gem right here. So I got to thinking, this was like an old band I was in. James was in this band. I got some of these characters actually tattooed to me. Wow. Well, these are like flyers we leave like everywhere and stuff. And I have like old pictures of everything. But I was in a band with James, like, for those of you that don't know, like a long time ago. And I remember a big thing about it was like harmony, doing like This guitar's backwards, by the way. It's our left-handed guitar, but with the strings like this. But anything to play.
Jimmy.
But I remember, James, I would sit there and we'd sit in the room and I go, just do this. Duh, and Andreas, do this. Duh, and we'd sit there and we'd just learn to harmonize. We do a bunch of different stuff.
Right.
And it was
That's
like the Beatles, it's like Beatles love the Beach Boys because I think the Beach Boys are like the kings of harmony.
You're gonna lose that girl.
Yes, that whole tone. And I don't know, it was cool, man. But yeah, like my last band was with James, and my first like real band was with James. John, I met John in a band. That's when I first met John. I met him Flawed Days.
So many bands.
I had some old pictures of John, playing guitar and doing this cool shit. But yeah, I met John through a band, and that was like 20 years ago. Shit. And then John was actually in my last band we did together, And the same thing, me and you, we sat in the backyard and played over and over, back and forth. John, I mean, you can't practice 3 times a week while everyone else did practice once, So you were like writing music with me the whole time.
Yeah,
and
it's totally trippy. It's totally trippy.
I wrote music with David, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can't even really put a.
We would do it over the phone.
Yeah, there's like
before Zoom or anything like that. We do it right over the phone.
There were cell phones. But I remember we had like a drum set at my house, and then we didn't have cymbal stands, so we had like one hanging from a bungee cord, like kind of just floating, and like we would just write little silly songs like forever, and like we would write them back and forth, and we had like some pretty wild music out there.
Yeah.
And oh man, it's just weird because we've all written all these different songs together and stuff like that. Like what
Then we were in the Rejects for a little bit.
Yeah, then we were in the Rejects, which was a punk rock band.
Then it was Fuck the System.
Wheeze Nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we did our own Fuck the System where we actually started fucking around with recording.
Yeah, that was wild. That was like us just being as vulgar as possible, and it was fun though. It was a lot of fun, and we were actually our recorder back then was a dual tape player, so we would record on one, get the music, then put it on the other tape part.
Oh man!
Push play and record, and then switch the tapes over and keep doing that back and forth until it was layered real shitty, but it was a full song, And I think David was driving and he got in a crazy ass car accident, and that was like playing still. Like that's that tape playing.
The car was upside down and it was still running.
And
the car was still running.
So you can't even feel that music.
Yeah. And
then
you guys get a recording of the car crash?
Yeah, I walked out in the middle of the road. I was like,
you were outside the car?
Yeah,
I remember
I crawled out, like, and I got glass and stuff in my hands, and I'm like, I crawl out, and who comes fucking driving down the street? It's fucking Vinny. And he goes, "What are you doing in the middle of the road?" I'm like,
oh wow.
Yeah, I was going up to pick up my little brother Elvis from school at the time. Yeah.
So, was it during the day?
Yeah. I was on my lunch break. I was going back home to my grandma's house. Yeah.
You're like, there was ice on the road.
The mountain's gone now. There's a bunch of houses right there.
It's all flattened out. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, and then from there we did the Weezer cover band, Wheeze Nuts. And then that was cool because I mean
Wheeze Nuts was actually, you guys like had it really tight.
Yeah, it started
Every time I see you guys were like even when like the backyard, you guys played like this backyard show at some.
Yeah, we played a lot of backyard shows. That was fun.
But I forgot whose house was that the first time I saw you guys.
My cousin Sammy Joe's, I think my Aunt Liza.
Yeah, it was like next to a hill or some shit. All I can remember.
Yeah, that was fun. But it was cool because I would book all of our bands together, and we can have like all our bands at the same time.
Oh, totally party. Yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting how fast, like when you think of it, like about like playing music, like the time span, like, oh man, like that was like almost 10 years ago. Like, and it just feels
longer on some of those projects.
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally longer.
Yeah, like no, I can't remember. Like it was like 2003. So something weird like that, some of those bands. But yeah, it was pretty neat just being able to do different music and stuff with you guys. And I mean, like I saw James become like a singer, then join his own bands, and then bloom into the beautiful flower he is today. I mean, what are your thoughts on music, man? What's your take on music today, on like everything that you've done? You played a number of different instruments. I've seen you go from guitar to being a singer to different things. Like what's your take on it?
I think that it's I mean, music is obviously something important to all of us, but it's fascinating to consider its tension, right? It's literally tension. Like a stringed instrument is the best way to think of it, right? Of course, there's other modes of playing an instrument, but a stringed instrument, it's like a tenseness of the chord. And that has kind of got me really thinking, Vince, in a weird way that I'm like, your own body,
You're a wound-up guy.
muscles are actually not held together by anything other than tension. It's the same thing on our human body. Like there's nothing keeping us together other than like a tense network of things.
Nothing keeping us together.
And so maybe the 6 strings on a guitar are like similar to your own bicep or your hamstring or whatever it is. I don't know. That's right.
So you're saying music has become a part of you,
Yeah.
like an instrument, kind of. Is what you're saying.
Your body's an instrument.
So like when you hear like say, because what started happening to me when I'd write music is like I'd hear a guitar part or a bass part, you know, and I immediately would hear the other part, you know. So like I would hear, oh, I know what the bass is gonna be like because this is a guitar part, like immediately, and it was like, okay, I gotta go home and put these pieces together, and a lot of times I had different.
That is a big string, David.
Yeah, he has to be making noise, I think, for it to be singing, and he's on mute.
I know. I get that on
Big
purpose.
string.
He's like, you're going over time. You're going over time.
Going over
He's like,
And push him out of the way to the next subject. No.
but I like that. I like that. Like, what is that? Analogy? Like, you know, like how the guitar strings become a part of you. Like if they were your
It's an
own
extension of your penis, right?
Like, yeah, like it just kind of branches out, like it grows.
Your penis
know?
does that? It branches out.
No, but like I guess to just get a little bit
Here,
more
let me play
analogy too. Don't you feel like each band's almost like a different girlfriend?
Kinda.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Like, there's a lot of politics that go along
sometimes
with
there's
it.
similar ones, and then sometimes there's this one that's completely different.
Some
then-
people took it like pretty personal. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
yeah,
maybe
the way you
that-
work with other people too. That's what kind of why I brought it up, because I've worked with all of you, and it's like I've worked with James, like from being a teacher to being equal to, you know, like just wondering what type of music he's into. John, he's always coming from a metal background, so we know he wants to shred, and I spent time like, all right, John, now play that, but play it slower, you know, because John wants to go.
But even doing this podcast, it has like a lot of the same feels. Like
It has a band feeling
band,
almost.
right.
Kind of reminds me of that.
like we all got to kind of work together and try and figure it out, and everybody has their different opinions and things, and there's a right time and a right place for everybody to do something.
James got to stop exposing himself to the crowd. You know, guys, give the people what they want.
Give them
But you know,
money.
playing music has probably been like one of the highlights of life. You know what I mean? Like just even if it wasn't like for like a lot of people, even for the people that actually saw, like, you know, that would go to the show and saw, that was like more appreciated than anything. You know what I mean?
Why,
It was
John?
fun.
Why?
Because I think
Try to think about why.
well, the energy. For me, it's the energy, right? Like days, like there was times where it was like very nerve-wracking. But when you heard like
Oh yeah,
when you heard
there's
like
times where he
actually
failed completely and then brought it back. You know, like, oh shit, if we didn't nail that last song, everything would have sucked.
yeah,
you know?
and even if you like mess up, but the crowd's all feeling it, like you just keep going. It didn't even like, oh crap, I messed up, but we kept going. The song still sounded great and stuff like that. And I think that was always like just
We've had like the
amazing.
sound go off in the middle of a song, or when we were using drum machines, the drum machine just stops, and we're like, "What the fuck?" And we all look back at the drummer, but it's like a little stupid drum machine. And then, but to be honest, like I really didn't get really like frontman ready until Weezenuts, and I just walked in like on Thanksgiving, I think, one day, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna start a Weezer cover band. Want to be in it?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then they called me like the next day, "Oh, we're doing practice." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I was like, shit, I don't have a guitar or anything, so I have to talk, I have to run around, I have to do something. I can't just like stand there like holding the mic all silly. And I had to fucking learn, like, to be honest. And like a lot of it was like on the spot learning. Like I don't, you know, I have to be a front man now. I have to, you know,
How many
give them a
songs?
show, you know.
How many songs did you guys learn?
With Weezenuts, well, we learned at least like maybe an album's worth.
So what we wanted to do was
like 8.
Well, no, we were like we needed to learn the blue album, the green album, and then every other single after that.
Wow.
That was up to the red album at the time.
Yeah, so we needed to, because what started happening is earlier on, because like me and Vinny are definitely that way. Not everybody in the band was totally that way, but we would, even if we didn't have the song perfected, we were like, let's just play it. Let's just go out and do it. You know,
we get antsy.
Yeah,
I've done that with, I think, with every band we've been in.
Yeah, so we would just go out there just because we wanted to play live and have as much songs as we could. But then what started happening is people started yelling out songs that we didn't really know at the time. So
yeah, and we were like huge
Yeah.
Weezer fans to begin with. I mean, we like Weezer, but we weren't like super Weezer fans. I was like,
but like later on, we almost had everything that they really wanted to hear, or at least could do part of it. You know, we definitely had some bad shows. That one where we did Out in the Sun, and I was just looking like I was like, I don't even know where to stop. Like I was just looking like.
That's the thing with covers.
That's the bad thing about the cover bands. Good thing and a bad thing. Good thing is everybody knows your songs. So people that don't know you walks in the club or they see you playing, they're like, "Oh, this sounds awesome!" And we play everything a little heavier, a little crunchier than the actual tones of the original songs. But then the problem is everybody knows your songs. So when you fuck up, they know that you fucked up. You can't hide from it. You know, like if it was your own.
I used to. You know,
that's not how it goes.
Yeah, no, I
used to go up their shit face and I'd forget words, and so I would just like start pointing the mic in people's faces instead, and that worked for like a while. It was like really cool. It was like, wow, I get to be in part of the show. And then the cool thing is, then I have Eldritch Peculiar, my artsy project right after, or either before or after, I forget. You know, we've done so many shows that like it was like back to back. It's cool because eventually it's all my friends' bands, and I mean John was coming to see our shows, and then after that, you know, Dave was coming to see our shows, and then. You know, John, like I said, like you've always been like this badass like metal guitar player, man. Like it's like, you know, I kind of let you just do your thing. Like I said, I think for the most part it was just slowing you down. It was like, all right, man, so you play it lower, you play less, because you know.
Yeah, because it was like more like it showed more like a melodic side, like sustaining the notes, right? Like it's just jumping around, like spooky, like with the like. Even pulling the string a little bit here and there, but not like going all super, like crazy. Because if you would probably do a crazy solo, it would throw the whole.
Tones.
Yeah, like it would have probably like thrown the song off. Like the song would have probably been like.
Yeah, that was a view from Orion. That was like really spacey. Yeah. I mean, that's a perfect kind of word for it too. You know.
Yeah, I like the view from Orion. Honestly, it was a cool little time. You know.
Yeah, it was neat to grow into like. A different project, you know. It's like, okay, we're all older, we've already done a couple different bands, you want to try it again? You know, James was a guitar player in one band. In Eldritch Peculiar, we all played like, oh, I played guitar, now I play bass, now I'm singing, and we'd all jump around, you know, we had keyboards, we had this and that. Then James started playing synths for you know, the View from Orion, and that was neat because like a lot of it, like think about James, like I don't know, I hear a lot of the same sounds James hears. I think I just hear them maybe a little differently because sometimes I'm like, yeah, that's oh wait, I wasn't thinking that beat, and then you know it's something I don't like, and then I hear it like played, recorded, and I'm like, oh, that sounds fucking great. I wasn't listening to that part at all. I was listening to this part, but I kind of like know where James is gonna go on certain songs, and yeah, just kind of like with the synth stuff, it was neat because he would just kind of play, and it's like, okay, that feels good. Ease it on there, ease it on in there, you know. And,
ease it on in there.
Yep, he's a tone guy.
Hey, you know, it's always good to hear when you listen to music, you know, you hear different kind of, I don't know, structures or soundscapes even, right? Like there's goth, right? There's electronic, there's synth, there's EDM, all different platforms of EDM where, you know, you listen to house, there's a trance, psytrance, witch house, right? All this kind of stuff. And then metal is like thrash metal, atmospheric black metal, which is David's favorite subgenre, I think, of all time, if I remember correctly.
Of course. He's like, after this call, I'm gonna go paint my face, you know, how at the moon.
But all these little subgenres got me thinking about people, guys.
People are people.
Human beings being their own subgenres. And maybe, just maybe, this whole homeless issue that's going on in the world is a subgenre thing. where
Yeah.
it's like it's not just a state only, because California clearly has, by and large, a lot of population in general, and then therefore a lot of homeless population. Texas has a big homeless population, but is America going through a sub-genre issue right now? What are we going on? What's happening, guys? What's happening?
Yeah, so I think it's also personal view, obviously. There is a big homeless part, but like it's certain parts of Texas, almost like California, where you see
anywhere there's a big population, right?
But it's not just a big population; it's all the ones that kind
Notice he said almost like California when he's talking about how bad the homeless is. So you're like, no, there's even a homeless area like California's homeless place.
No, because I think you agreed with this too, James. You know, like California gets that rap, but it's not all over California like everything else.
Everywhere.
You know,
it's the most I've ever seen in my lifetime as
it's definitely.
But David's living somewhere where he tell us, David.
Well, like Austin. Austin's like big with a lot of that, like that out there. You know, with some of the similar politics with how they're doing things, and I don't know. Yeah, so it does have to do with population. That's just going to happen. That's just statistics and numbers, but it's also there is some of the policies, and I heard it on something today where they're talking about it, that it's also who's making money off of it. You know what I mean? You have all these organizations that are putting together these programs and things for them, but they're profiting off of it.
Yeah, they get no work. If you solve the homeless problem, then you lose your job. You know, so there's big business in it. And to be honest, the homeless are happy to be on the streets. They're getting their free money, they're getting their free drugs, and they're like we're all seeing online that like homeless guy who has like a projector in his tent and like internet and everything. He's playing like Xbox.
It's insane. Like they're building like little houses and stuff.
No, yeah, and that's the thing is they're on sidewalks. And one thing is this guy I know that we all know, Frank. He was saying like, yeah, the homeless are on the sidewalk, and that's one thing, but who uses sidewalks? Kids use sidewalks. Adults drive cars. We have motorcycles and bikes. Kids are the ones and like ladies, walking their families. They're the ones using.
Yeah, even people in wheelchairs. There was a case where there was this guy taking a video. He's like, all I want to do is just get from here over there, but he has to go back out to the back, get down find us way down, and then go on the streets, like go quick through the street.
Yeah, that's so completely move a whole different direction. I at the neighborhood council meeting in Sylmar,
and then there's a guy driving that doesn't see him, like it's him.
Yeah, that's a big thing that they brought up in the neighborhood council meeting. One girl was like, "Look, I go jogging every day from here all the way to Balboa, and I used to just be able to go on the street like nothing, but now I have to literally like cross the street on the in the middle of the street, cross it just to get away from these homeless camps, because then what's the what else are we gonna do? We're gonna we're gonna build housing, affordable housing is what they call it. What does that mean? Like, what's affordable housing? Does that affordable like we're just make your rent cheaper, or is it housing the homeless? And where are they gonna put these places? And it's like we have a place called we have a place, I know, but we have a place over here called the Metamorphosis, and they built that, but the people around are like, hey man, you guys are breaking into our neighborhood's worse now because of this, because of all this that we want to help the homeless people too, but why do you have to put it in our area? Why do we have to put it here?
The thing that they say is not a housing thing, it's more like a mental health drug thing.
Okay, so then why do we want all these crazy people around our family and children?
Well, that's the thing that's trippy. That's the thing that's trippy, because remember when we were like younger, like kids, you always thought like, oh, here's the people coming out of the van with like straight jackets, and
I've seen some weird shit out of a guy in a van before. Like, I'm not even kidding myself.
That's now immortal though. That's now immortal. Like it's you're not.
They don't even have vans.
Like compassion, right? So it's like, oh no, these people, this is their homie. Like there's people that actually will fight you if you try to help them move, because they're like, no, this is their stuff. I mean, even if it's trash.
Like the area, like the rate's gonna go lower.
So I do have a story on that, like what were you saying, John? Like they get combative if you're trying to help them move or trying to get them out of there. Right. When I lived in Anaheim, right almost behind the Santa Ana River, and keep in mind I was like right by like the Honda Center, and Angel Stadium and everything right there, which is a little bit more of a nice promenade area. But right there on the Santa Ana River, it used to kind of blow my mind because it was such a nice little area, the way it was. But they just allowed all these transients to live there. In that river, there's probably about like 2,000-3,000 people there or something like that. And it's sketchy, like going back there. And what they did, and not saying this is right at all, this is just what they did, is the city of Orange County packed them all up, went out there, cleaned up all the trash. They found like a stolen bicycle ring, like where 40 or 50 bicycles, and then they found like 1,500 hypodermic needles.
That's the
like
thing
gold
too.
to
Why is it like with bicycles?
Yeah, no,
Like
it's
all these
gold to
homeless
them, dude.
people. All
Well,
these homeless people have like
it's a bike.
20
It's a bike trail back there on top of it through the river that goes through everything. So they probably
I
jacked
like
people.
bikes.
So they just get taxed with the bike. It's like,
I've had my bike stolen from me with somebody at Night Point going through like a little bicycle trail. So I could see how that happens. But
remember that.
the sheriff on TV, when he was talking about it, he's like, look, there are people down there that are down on the luck and they need help. He goes, there are. He goes, but the majority of them aren't that way. Because the majority of them are just, criminals. They're up to no good, or addicts where they can get better, but they don't want to get better. And that's not going to help the people that need to get better out there. But their solution was pick them all up, move them over to the next county, and pay for the motel for 60 days. And then that was it. That's all they did. So I'm not, like I'm saying, I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do.
They just move it over, the problem. I mean, that's
selfishly for me, living in that neighborhood, I was happy.
What else can they do? It's like, hey, I want them out of here. They got them out of here. But it's like, I think a lot of them come from other states too, because that's the thing is like, I don't know these people. Anytime I go up to Sunland, Tahunga, and I see a homeless person, I'm like, oh, I might know this person because I went to school around here. And I look, I'm like, I don't know any of these people. Like they're all younger, able-bodied people, at least my age or around my age, and it's like, I don't understand why you can't work, or can't do something, at your age, and how'd you get here? And that's another thing I wanted to bring up is like the weather, because I know with the immigrants and all that stuff,
man. They're just strong.
Like we have perfect weather. If you're gonna be homeless, you don't want to be homeless in California. You don't want to be homeless in Alaska. Actually, we got a busload of like I'm not sure if it was immigrants or if it was homeless. We got a busload of people from them. Texas and then they're doing it all the time, but that's a governor fight, and it's kind of funny to watch. But that's another thing. These are undocumented homeless people that are going to be here now, and we don't know where they're from. And they, if they do something wrong, then all of a sudden it's like boom, they're just gone. We don't know where it came from, where this, I think the most part is what about the children people?
So what you were saying too earlier, James, about the population. I was just thinking about it right now. Yeah, so that's definitely a fact. A bigger population, you're going to have a bigger poverty level or homeless level in those areas. But also those bigger dense areas, it's higher rent. You know what I mean? It's harder to get a job for them, like those people that like coming in there. So it's kind of like they kind of don't have a chance. Like out here in Texas, I really don't see there's certain parts where there are transients kind of around. There's certain laws that within little counties, and like I think even in Fort Worth, where you don't see any of them down there because you're not allowed. You can't stay under a freeway. It's against the law. They kick you out. But there are certain areas next to like halfway houses, and things like that.
Yeah, there's something with what you're saying.
Well, it's also
it's a danger with what you're talking about, because some people are totally relying on that assistance, and that assistance is just meager. It's meager. Let's be real. Like it's like scrounging by. I was talking to someone today about property in, I'm almost hesitant to say it on this podcast just because I don't want to let the word out. In El Centro. It's like we're on the border, guys. I mean, anyone who's ever been there's nothing in El Centro, but property's cheap. And maybe, just maybe, it'll be something that I'll be like, well, okay, I'll look at it
for 10 years.
Because eventually population.
Like Lancaster's
this is what I think about, David.
Well, totally.
Dallas is a good example, and California as an entire state is a good example, and Texas, I think, as an entire state is also a good example. As an entire state, truly, both states, population density all the way to the gills, and we can't see it now because there's huge swaths of California and Texas that are unpopulated. No one would ever want to live in those places. Yet, people are going to flood them.
Like
why? Because the governments of both of those states are going to be so manicured, so well groomed, that anything that you want to do, if you want to do it in a desert, you want to do it in a forest, you want to do it wherever, they got it set for you. And that if you're in Nevada, or you're in South Dakota, well, it won't be as business friendly for you. Even though I know California isn't business friendly, it's by and large sentiment, but California's a massive amount of people. Like there's still a lot of business in California for whatever reason. Maybe we can outline here, but Texas too, right? Like they just seem to be like these big ass economic states. You cannot deny that.
My father-in-law said, like, you know, they should have never made marijuana legal because it brought all the homeless. He goes, look at all the states that have marijuana legal. They have a huge homeless problem. And I remember just being like, nah, that's crazy. That's crazy. And then,
yeah, so all you homeless out
kind
there,
of linking them together. I'm like, I'm starting to see them. We know what you're up to, you pothead homeless.
We know what you're doing.
Oh,
Well, why are they
homeless.
here? But are the homeless born in California? Or are they born somewhere else and they come to California? And
that's
if
the
so,
thing. We have perfect weather here for it. You know, if you're gonna be homeless, it's like, hey, you don't want to be where it's like you're gonna freeze to death, right? You don't want to be where you're gonna burn to death in the sun. You know, you can just live right next to the beach, get your food from like, you know, the local restaurant over here, and you know, be happy in California. And it's almost like they want them here too.
By and large,
so that makes
California,
sense.
by that stat, right, David? By and large,
Yeah.
homeless. There's more people in California in general, though, right? As a state,
Oh, yeah,
it's a
totally.
populous state. It's the most.
There's some states here with a lot of people that probably have a real small amount of homeless people.
There's like 15, 25 million in Los Angeles alone.
Oh yeah, I totally get that. But that one says California, right? So it's like all over California.
But population, though, California's got the more people than any other state in the whole country.
Crazy.
There's more people in
I
California.
actually thought Texas was going to be higher than that, but
That is still staggering, though.
I mean,
and I know it's because of CalFresh and systems.
Well, I don't know. I've had those programs before.
I'm not saying I don't think there's a problem with them, Vince. But I
know that. That's not what's that question. The question is, I've had those, and I've been able. You know, I've never.
Here, let's look at this one.
I've always worked. I'll say that. I've never not been able to find a job ever. Like, and I don't think once in my life have I. You know, there's been one time where it kind of took me a little longer than usual.
Homelessness, you probably think of images like this. The unhoused living on streets or under bridges in major cities around the U.S.
And while homelessness is certainly an issue in many of America's cities, especially at the local level, it's an issue that's increasingly becoming a problem in suburban America, too.
This is the most amount of individuals that we have seen experiencing homelessness.
Ryan Harrison helps lead family services in Loudoun County, Virginia, a suburb about 45 minutes from Washington, D.C., known for its quaint historic districts, the country club of a former president, as well as being ranked one of the wealthiest zip codes in the entire country. But like so many suburban communities in recent years, homelessness is on the rise here. In fact, it's up 30% since 2019.
One cannot overstate the ramifications or the implications of the COVID-19 pandemic. One being the inflated cost of housing and rent. Many of our working class families are outpriced of the units that they're currently occupying.
Harrison says homelessness in suburbs sometimes isn't as visible as it is in cities, with more people out here living in shelters as opposed to the streets. But not having a home is still the same.
What about this? In 1920, late 20s, 1930s, homelessness was also a problem. And I always wonder if maybe we're mirroring a little bit of like,
why were
there was
don't you say capitalism? Don't you mention capitalism?
The stock market crash, right? And then there was food scarcity. There was the Dust Bowls. People moved around all over the place. Then the wars hit.
Well, the wars got everyone out of that.
Some people say wars caused the U.S. at least to get out of the Depression. And FDR's New Deal wasn't working, but FDR's New Deal was sending 19 to 25-year-old men to work in different places in the country. And even people said, you know what they said, Vince? They said they were homosexuals that were doing that. Did you know that? Look it up.
Yeah.
They said they were gay boys.
Did you?
Because the generation of society, same language you used earlier, not today, but previous
generation
conversation, another conversation. But it's fascinating to think that here we are in 2023, and we're like, well, what's going on with work? What's going on with war? What's going on with sexuality? And here we are. Same.
So, James, you're saying that every time people start to gay it up a little too much, the world just freaks out,
No.
and then there's no more work, and then there's more
I
homeless,
think it's
there's
an
more crazy
excuse.
people.
I think it's an
Every family
excuse.
was different. in
Well, that's the thing.
1930s.
It's like I don't see how you
But there
cannot
were
work.
some things that many of them had in common. What was day-to-day life like?
Well, we
in the
can't pause
1930s?
our whole conversation
What
with
did
this
families do?
dialogue. Put
A
the
typical family during
Remember,
the
that's
Great
back from
Depression
1930.
would have
put the mute
consisted
on. Put
of
the
a
mute on.
father,
And we'll just read
mother,
the captions. You can play it, but put the mute on.
and several
then we'll read
children.
the captions.
Oh, okay.
And then full screen, and we'll read the captions. But I'm just saying that maybe they were doing the same thing. Vince, I can't hear you. Maybe they were doing the
I
same
know. It's a good thing you didn't. I was like, you're gonna hijack this guy's like YouTube thing and just narrate it yourself. It's no longer yours. It's
thing.
me.
I guess you're right. Well, you know what?
He's like, oh wait,
Can I talk about something? Can I hijack this?
yeah.
Go ahead. You
I
got something
think
to
this
say,
is
say
a
it.
great platform.
Just to mention
for this.
capitalism in the whole homelessness issue.
Well, it's not capitalism. It does go into maybe in a way governments,
Okay.
but not in a human way. Ants, how do they government themselves?
What?
So ants, how does that work, right, guys? Think about
They
it.
have a chemical
Oh, they-
trail. You know that.
They got the whole energy vibe going. They could still communicate, and it's almost like neurons down there.
I mean, it's a bizarre thing, guys. I'm just saying that if you get into what they're doing, they say the ants make up almost 20% of the mass of Earth. They are doing things down there, guys. That we
20%?
20% of the mass of
Who
Earth
says that?
made
Wow.
up by these ants. Guys,
Wow.
we're not alone. It's not people say it's aliens. I'm
Well,
starting to think
even with the whole thing, right? Where like they're saying that underneath Earth, there's like also like areas of Earth that could be habitable, even underneath.
Whole
Just-
other oceans down there.
Like, oh yeah, like they found like another type of like sea or some shit. So just imagine that, like, and then there's ants down there. They're
Big
like so.
ants.
goodness. I mean, cavernous Earth kind
What do
of
you
theory
think-
is what you're getting
What do
at?
you think the ants do with their homeless?
Riding on an ant.
What do the ants do with their homeless?
Well, that's a good question, Vince. You know what? I
Oh,
saw.
man.
Let me say this though. I will say this.
There's
I
no
saw.
homeless 'cause they all work.
They all work. You're right, David. I saw
That's
recently, like I was running a jog, and I saw a shred of land that looked like it was like cut, like maybe a bulldozer even went through it, like a construction. And the ants were crawling. There was nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go, and they're all like scattered. And I'm just jogging. I decided to stop. I'm a little out of breath, and I noticed 3 ants, and they're digging. They put a little rock out of the way. They move another little rock out of the way, and there's just 3 ants. None of the other ones. They're just like one at a time. One little stone, little stone, little stone, little stone, little stone, little stone. And I went back there a week later, guys, and that's a full-on ant hill now. Those 3 ants started, and they found the colony again, and it made me.
What does that have to do with China?
I'm impressed by the tenacity, the endurance of these ants. That's why I bring it up, because it's like, okay, I'm seeing flies. They create maggots. They kill. They're like, flies are death. But what is an ant? Ant eats your shit
Flies
too.
clean up,
But an ant
so does
isn't
flies.
death. An ant is in its own category. It's like creating while it's also eating, decomposing things and all that stuff. So it's its own. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is an ant death or is an ant life? Which side of the coin does it
So a
fall
little
into?
bit of
As an
both.
insect?
I think more highly of them than flies.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah.
you made that Bruceism right there. But I don't know if I say it's life or death, but they definitely have a purpose.
Sure, all of them.
I would always feel bad for like the red ants when they would get attacked by the black ones, and you see like 3 black ants on like the leg of like one red one, and the red one's still trying to go through. It's like, oh, and a lot of times I just mess up the whole hole. I go, none of you guys get the hole then. And then
Out here in Texas, there's so many spooky bugs, dude. Like I'm just like I still get like weirded out, and like the last 2 years that the last 3 years I've been here, it seems like something changed in the weather where this bug's around more prominently this year than it was the year before. And I was just like, what the fuck? What the hell is this thing? Like these crazy ass wasps.
What's the bug that made you scream the loudest? Like
there's this, yeah. There was like some crazy, like it looked like a hybrid between a wasp and a bumblebee. But somebody was telling me, they're like, oh yeah, those things won't bite you though. They're not aggressive, but they look scary as fuck. And then the big giant spiders, we have huge spiders just with the big ass.
You guys have like crazy ass animal laws there though, right? You're allowed to have like any animal you guys want.
I guess, but like even like my
Spiders
backyard
are animals.
So I haven't ran into any snakes. I think Amy found like the little tiny little snakes in like a garden patch out one day. Yeah. But I haven't seen anything crazy out there like that. I've seen some crazy hawks. No, I haven't seen any potato bugs, and to be honest, I haven't actually seen a lot of ants. But I no doubt they are out
more of them out there.
Yeah, I just haven't seen a lot of them. But then there's cicadas, fucking hundreds and hundreds, and like you walk away that yard, it just echoes. It just and they make that sound in sync.
So
it's the weirdest thing. Yeah.
Just start eating the bugs, man.
Yeah, I was thinking the bugs and be happy and be happy. These chickens
but
are
you know
happy. They're doing exactly
going back
that.
To ants. Going back to ants. There's always a great quote, right? It's not just one ant, right? It takes like a lot of.
Well, yeah, it's a hive.
The colony.
There's only one who's independent.
Puny. Say, let's pretend this grain is a.
You know, ants are similar to the society. So, can I say this, John? I feel like I know where the thread of what this is about, and I think this is bigger than anything else. What you're sharing here.
Bigger than
could human beings
be quiet and let them play it.
Could human beings be both the ant colony and also, before the ant colony ever existed, the hunter-gatherer alone, isolated, a singular entity, and then society started to spin the wheel of all of what humanity was, all the collection of thought, and that is where we're at. Where we don't realize that there was actually two. There was collection and singular. You know, like where you were just a hunter-gatherer, where you're like, yeah, you're dumb for being out there, or smart for being out there, whatever it is. But then society said, well, we have all this stuff. Don't you want beer? Don't you want good?
Yeah, the convenience. Like that's why
that's what ants do, guys. That's what ants do.
But what do they do? Grab me a beer?
No, ants are like, I am a worker ant. I am a mate. I am a queen. I work at a colony. They're ones that scout. Come on, guys. Have you ever paid attention to how ants work?
Yeah,
like they're not. They're specific.
So you're just trying to say all on live we sweat and save building for a shallow grave?
Well, society is you're a worker, you're a billionaire, you're this, you're that, you're an like that's what society literally is telling us, guys. Go to school to be a profession. I mean, I'm not trying to tell anyone don't go to school. I'm just saying, like, it's literally what it's saying, you know, right?
And it's funny because, like, going to school now, it's not all what it used to be, right? You got high tuition, you know, to a degree that people might not even look at. There's a guy. It's like, oh man,
become an owner a lot faster if you go to school, though.
No, you should go to school.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Don't go to school. Learn as much as you can.
Because even if you become like an apprentice of some sort, someone's teaching you the ropes. You're not just going out there going, "Oh, here I am, blindly. Let me just open this or do that." Right? You're being taught something.
But you are being institutionalized, right?
Right. But when you go to school, you're learning that book. The book smart type thing, right? And that might be not going well with the whole street smart.
Exactly.
The tuition's messed up, right? School's messed up. People are saying it. Indoctrination centers now.
There's like on the job training. Just that's what street smarts is, I think, pretty much. You know, it's either you got it or you don't. You know, you can like, hey, recognize if someone's pulling their ass.
But it's experience. Like experience goes a long way, and that's why you see that on every job description now. Is like, hey, you know, bachelor's degree, or equivalent with 2 or 3 years of experience out in the field.
Yeah,
Right.
Give you like a year thing.
Yeah.
Shoe salesman, Al Bundy, right?
4 touchdowns in one game. Yeah, just a normal guy.
Poor guy.
Normal guy.
I've been wanting to get that shirt that says "No, ma'am." When they're all in that club.
Jefferson.
Yeah, that.
Oh man, dude.
All these ants. What about Antifa? John.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah. Speaking of ants, right? Speaking of,
They work together, and you got like ones that go there and start shit, and you got the ones that just hide behind their masks, and then you got the ones over there.
While John's loading that up, hiding behind your mask, by the way. Remember when Hong Kong protesters was going on, and there was like a lot of articles about how to protect your identity? Because in China, there's cameras everywhere. So you get on a bus, you're already being photographed. They know who you are as you're protesting. Your social credit's going down.
You have to show your face.
People change clothes on the bus, and they do all this shit.
To even get even something from the vending machines.
Yeah,
you scan your face first.
Yep. So they have to
Just imagine when it's like oh man, I can't even get a soda.
Yeah, if you speed, they track the rate, then your human your score goes down, and then they deduct that money out of your bank account.
Face masks, you need them. Wear them.
Well, there's the thing even now too that you could wear like a tiny LED light, and that blanks your if the LED is so bright.
Genius.
That every camera it's a little dim light, right?
That's smart.
Yeah,
dude, give me one of those. Order them, send it. Because I go on that fast track and I always go like this. It never works. It always
the car's going like this. The car, they're not looking at me.
It didn't work. They got my license plate. My face means that. I don't want to think of my face and the license plate. I feel like there's something to it. I'm a weirdo.
No, but the whole rioting and all that stuff. If you're gonna do that, do you think it's best to hide? I mean, it's from a criminal point of view. If you're,
I'm that guy. I'm that guy. I would rather ride with the criminal than be like, oh, there's nothing to hide. I got nothing to hide. I'm not that person. I got nothing.
Could have been me.
I believe I am like a criminal in the police state world. That even though I have nothing to hide, I am equal to the criminal. That's how I view my life.
James. We'll see exactly what you have.
I'm a dim view of it. I have a dim
that's
view.
The thing, right? We're still human. We're still human. So they're benefiting off of mistakes. Because let's just say this: your foot gets tired, you press the gas a little bit. Oh crap! I just went up 2 miles an hour.
You're speeding.
Over.
You're
speeding.
Yep.
You're a criminal. Yeah, and then you're like, so there's always this thing called, what's that freaking civil disobedience?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Where you're not hurting anyone.
That's what I mean. So you have to.
Yeah.
Well, should there be an opt out? Should there be an opt out thing where it's like, okay, you can either be a part of our society.
Oh, you opt out,
or you can just go for a walk out over there in the jungle, and then good luck.
Okay, so how about this Autobahn idea, right? The Autobahn. You can go as fast as you want as long as it's within regulation. That's cool to me, right? That's cool to everyone in this chat. You can go as fast as you want as long as it's safe.
Yeah.
There's a freeway like that, right?
The Autobahn. That's the Autobahn.
I wasn't paying attention.
It's called the LA freeway.
The 405, is that right? Called the 405 or 101
in LA. You can go at 95 if you want, and as long as no one's on the freeway with you, you're fine. Okay. No one gives a shit.
I would think if I had like a fast car,
I think it's fine, right, David? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Like you're going down a road like that that's opened up. You're going down to Vegas. You're driving down a fucking big road, and it's just like there's nobody else there, and it's like 3.5 hours. You'll hit traffic at one point, but fucking like, let me get all my fucking miles in.
You start hitting those little bridges.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you just flip off the road and you just end up on a side and the railing. They see you in the morning at 6 a.m. like hanging from a beam. Like, is that a body? No, that's not a body. It's a stuffed animal.
He's traumatized, man. He was in a car accident.
Is that a UFO? No, that's
I've seen plenty of them.
I've
seen bodies hanging outside of cars, like going off freeways like that. But that's their choice, is what I feel. James, when you drive out of Texas, feel free to go outside.
Well, you get pulled over in Texas. You don't go fast in Texas.
So no.
Yeah.
you're like I'm saying,
I go hundreds of miles.
Yeah or no?
Well,
I have out-of-state plates. I don't drive fast in Texas. Never.
No. I actually
Never.
feel like I was left alone in my
It's a rent-a-car. It's a rent-a-car.
But it's also different parts of Texas. Like in Austin, it's a little bit more strict and they get a little bit different. Dallas is a little bit more strict than where I'm at here in Fort Worth. Fort Worth and cops don't fuck with you out here. Like they really don't. They're like trying to. It's a big enough city where they're
bigger things to deal with.
They got other things to deal with, and then if they do pull you over, they'll talk to you and try and figure it out and just like, all right, go on your way.
So there's a lot more homeless in Austin or Fort Worth.
Oh, Austin probably.
Well,
Worth's bigger though.
Compared to Fort Worth, I would think Austin for sure. Austin has an issue. They have a big issue with it out there.
Yeah, California issue.
Well, it's because of the way it's being run down there.
It's also the capital.
So it's like California's taking over Austin.
But also Dallas has a bigger homeless problem than Fort Worth.
Huge. It's a huge city though.
But yes, again, that's a huge city. But when you go to these,
all about mass.
But when you go to these cities, and you can
big
tell
numbers, guys.
You can tell by those numbers that we saw. You see it, but it's not like driving through LA. The last time I was out in LA was like a year ago.
They're like
there, and
David's afraid of Los Angeles.
No, I went down to downtown.
Well, they're in your neighborhood now.
To be honest, I was just disgusted anymore.
I don't even want to go there.
We're your neighborhood's best, and they're your neighborhood's homeless.
Yeah. I went down there, and I was just
one
with nasty because it just grew since I left, and a lot of it has to do with COVID. So a lot of it does have to do with COVID.
Sure. Yeah.
There was a big down on their luck, but like I don't know, like the whole down. I think a lot of it's being taken advantage of. Some people are like, hey, dude, I could live in my RV right here. The cops say something, but if we don't move our cars, they don't do nothing. So
plus, they're getting a lot of free shit, man. They're getting
that's something I'm saying. They're taking advantage of the situation.
John Vince, let me get you on that one though. The RV thought. Let's just park.
Well, there was a time when me and you thought about being homeless, James.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I've always thought about.
I understand the wanderlust, but this is a wanderlust.
Hoboism is an American thought. Okay, first, but that's hobo.
Train car rail hoboism, but this isn't like riding the rails.
Century 1900s tramping saddle bums on a motorcycle on a horseback.
Yeah, they have like transient signs everywhere.
They called them saddle bums on horseback. They didn't have a place to go. They ride the saddle on a horse till they found a place to go. On a motorcycle, same thing. Homelessness is an American thing. So what I'm getting at, guys, is this: we're entering a world where, if you look it up, you typed it in, people buying an RV or a van right now and living it's big right now. Why, guys? There's
they just kicked out these people in. There's 20 people or 20 of RVs in this house over here in Solmar.
Really?
Yeah, and the people were like,
not homo,
dangerous.
Hobo.
Whoa, dude, what are you looking at? I'm talking about the homeless.
H-O-B-O, John. Do B-O.
Are you sure? Because I keep hearing homo.
Hoboism. No, it's important because it's actually a quintessential American thing. Actually, it really is. It really is an American thing. No, but I mean, yes. But
I guess you gotta have a home first, right?
The idea here is that you don't need a home in the U.S. because you can live on the land. But the fact is that home ownership
and it's not even your home.
Owning land is becoming bigger and bigger now. And that is another issue that we should stem to. It's not the same issue.
You pay taxes on that land.
Wanting to wander up the dole is an American idea.
Yeah,
it's quintessential American idea. However, owning land, and you don't own any of your land ever, and you're gonna never own the land, that is happening because big business is gobbling this shit up, guys. No one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck. We're all like, oh, so let's go to El Centro and buy a property. Let's go to David. What's a random ass spot in Texas that no one ever talks about owning property that might be like end up hilariously being
what's the rural area?
A funny place to own property.
I can't really say what's
New Austin,
but there are some.
He's like Austin.
No, yeah, Austin. No, Austin's really popular to move to right now. Austin, San Antonio,
it's a big
all that's good. I think Fort Worth, where I moved, that's actually getting more people kind of moving over. The market, the housing gone up so much since when I bought my house for.
Yeah,
just in that first boom. It shot up. Good thing and a bad thing.
Bidenomics.
You know, when that happens, and I think it's gone up a little bit because of some politics, but it is more right wing in here compared to Dallas. You drink that shit. Oh, but because I was thinking about this when you guys were talking earlier. So I don't want to say it's a funny story because it's kind of a fucked up story, but I don't know how you guys feel about this too. Like when somebody's asking for money, or even when they're not asking. Usually, I'll give somebody money when they're not asking for money. Is what I'll do if I see somebody down on luck. But I was going from one bar to the next bar. I was like bar hopping with a buddy of mine, and I was following him on the freeway. Before I jumped on the freeway, I saw this lady out there, and I have a little bit more compassion towards ladies. I feel like guys should be able to get a job a lot quicker than them. But anyways, as I was jumping onto the freeway, this lady's just sitting there. She's just like, kind of sitting outside of her tent, and it's a hot fucking day. And like, I'm about to jump on the freeway, making a left-hand turn, and she's right here on the left-hand side of me. And I take out $5 and I put it out the window, and then the light turns green. And as I turn, the wind just picks up the $5 bill and it just fucking shot out. And I was on the freeway.
It's like $5 over there for you.
The wind just picked it up. Just like,
how could that happen?
Well, like
he was like,
I'll go to like 7-Eleven for like lunch sometimes, and right across the street from Giorgio's, that 7-Eleven there. Like there's a guy right there, and I was like, okay, like the first time, I'll give him my change as they come out, because he asked for change. That's one thing. I'm like, okay, I know that this is his spot. I could kind of tell, And then now I just see him there. He'll ask for change, but he has a fucking pookie in his hand.
Ooh.
And he's fucking just sitting there. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna give you shit, dude. Like, you're not even like hiding your fucking pipe. And you're like, it's right there. You're lighting it up. Go, hey, you got any change? And it's like, dude, that's like not only like gross, but like disrespectful too. It's like, why the fuck would I want to give you anything if you're gonna fucking like, if you can't even like look at me, be like a normal person to me, dude? Like, I've done those drugs before, So I don't know if I did what dudes do.
Yeah, I see.
I've done meth though before, and I know like. It's like, hey,
he's laying on the line. He's telling you, like, this is what I do.
Yeah, but like, fuck, you're gonna ask me for fucking change while you're mething out right there in fucking.
Do you want the guy to say, hey, give me money so I can buy food? Or do you want a guy to say, give me money so I can buy drugs? Exactly. What do you want? I mean, there's a level.
Yeah, one time you would have appreciated that, but now it's just like, all right, dude, like you say, public places, like it's still for children. Public is still for the children area. 7-Eleven and stuff like that,
Right. If the city is like handing you drugs, here, this is utensils. They're not gonna care now if a normal person's like, oh, hey, the city's cool with it. Everybody should be cool. It's like when
just give them a gym to die in.
Yeah,
when the city that's cool with it?
Well, yeah,
cops.
The cops
are not prosecuting.
They're not going out to that 7-Eleven to tell them to get off the corner, right? That's what you're saying?
Exactly. Or they might if someone complains, right?
You're saying the cops aren't telling them to get off the 7-Eleven corner, though, right? That's basically what you're saying.
Well, the thing is, I don't know. I don't have it.
Well, that's what we're talking about. No, but I'm just getting it specific.
Yeah, businesses.
No, I think it's a private. If it's like under the bridge, if he's asking money, I would say no, the cops won't come. But if he's in front of 7-Eleven, I would say maybe, they would come and get him off private property and then push him out to the street or something.
That's the Japanese making a backdoor with Nancy Pelosi. And they're like, hey, we don't prosecute homeless people on Japanese property, right?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. That's why
Taiwan, because Taiwan doesn't fall, Nancy. It doesn't.
San Francisco, man, open fentanyl use, right? They have their little. They're just.
Well, Vancouver lets you do East Hastings Street. You straight up, let's go do heroin right now, guys. We can.
Canada's lost.
And Vancouver, if I go into a certain place sanctioned by the city, they will give me cleaner heroin or some sort of reduced form of it, and I can shoot up there. Because they believe it's better to do it there than to do it on some random street and die. And I don't know, man. I have to say, I'm sorry. I'm that guy. I think it makes sense.
But the thing is, it makes sense
because drugs are crazy, dude. People don't realize how strong they are. They're like, they make you change if you don't have someone to wake you up
I think
at
a
some
lot
point.
of us here on this podcast have done drugs before, and
Yeah.
we have changed because of them.
But I think there's two things, James.
I have. I mean,
there's one thing completely condoning it, and there's one thing letting everybody know, like being aware of something that's going on. Like when I was in Amsterdam, they had these signs that when we first got there, and they were up everywhere saying like, you know, tourists or whatever, there's bad batch of coke going on. You know, this is before fentanyl was big or anything like that. And
letting the people know.
Yeah, when I was leaving there, they put the signs back up, and they said, okay, we kind of stopped that or what was going on, like almost saying it's
Yeah,
you know, they weren't saying like, hey, you know, 100% go out and do it, but they were letting the public know like, hey, there's a bad batch or some shit going on right now, and letting you know once it was kind of lifted. You know what I mean?
Okay, so that's a bigger thing, David. But go on. Do you have something to add to that?
Yeah. Have you seen the movie They Cloned Tyrone?
Well, before you say that, because I haven't seen it, but maybe it'll add to it. But then jump right back on.
Well, all I want to say about the whole drug thing and homelessness thing is that if the government's in charge of it, trying to fix it, what's only going to happen is they want to kill these homeless people. They want to kill them.
Yeah,
like they're doing it to, like, you do your drugs, you know, you could OD, because they're dying every single day. They're dying every single day out there. And they're going, hey, whoops, sorry, we're trying our best, but here, have some syringes. Here, have a crack pipe.
With
six people in San Francisco every day, I think, from fentanyl right now.
Wow, exactly. So I think what they're doing is just like have them have a good time. They're gonna die out, but the thing is, they don't know is that kid down the street is like, hey, let me try that, because they walk past it, right, and then they get home.
Yeah,
so I think it's
making drugs unsafe.
But it's also like a big business. It's billions of dollars, so they gotta be entwined. Like government has to be entwined.
Why is the government letting it in? Is what you're getting at, right? Why is
the whole shebang, right?
Because you know they definitely have them on. They know how much is coming in. They know how much, you know, they should know how to stop it. But I think we know that certain people in the government work hand in hand with the cartels.
Yeah, because they were saying like the Arizona one, the Arizona lady that won, I forget her, the one that was going against Kerry, she was on the payroll of the freaking cartels, supposedly.
Yeah, I heard that.
So I hear. So you know, so you're kind of like, whoa, what's going on here? But did you guys see what's that movie, Tyrone?
They Cloned Tyrone.
Cloned Tyrone.
Have you guys seen it?
I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I heard about it.
Not.
It's
Netflix or something, or what?
What's about?
Any movie that Jamie Foxx is in, I'm gonna watch.
Oh, Jamie Foxx. I thought he wasn't doing movies.
There's a few people that pop into it that you don't realize, like, oh shit, like they're in this, because the movie seems a little silly at first. It starts off kind of serious, almost like Snowfall, if you watch that show. But it's basically, there's a drug dealer. The three main stars is there's this drug dealer who's basically Tyrone, and then there's this prostitute, and then her pimp / kind of drug dealer too is Jamie Foxx, and it centers around them. They're all the stars of the movie, and so he's trying to, you know, sell something on the street. He's trying to collect money from Jamie Foxx. Basic concept is he gets shot up like 5 or 6 times, and they make it they say, oh, you got shot up like 50 cents, but the next day he's at home and he thinks he had a bad dream, and he goes back out and everybody's like, oh, I thought I just saw you got shot. So something's going on where they actually cloned him. And he's trying to figure out the whole situation of what went on. But they're in a lab, they're doing some stuff that they think is coke, but it's not, and it gets them all fucking twisted and weird. And they're putting in the fried chicken in the neighborhood, making everybody like in the ghetto go crazy. Yeah, and then Kiefer Sutherland's kind of like the
Kiefer Sutherland. What's this called again?
They Cloned Tyrone.
They Cloned Tyrone as a Jamie Foxx and Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
That's a huge cast.
It's on Netflix.
That's all I needed to know.
That's it. I didn't want to show the preview or nothing. Just it's on Netflix.
Need not say more.
It just came out last week.
Wow. Someone's sharing this.
So they do clone them, huh?
So they did clone him, huh? You know, Tyrone is a powerful name. You know.
Yeah, well, I
comes
think
from
they
Greek.
call him
Comes from the
something
Greek.
else, but I think a clone at the end or some other guy that they originally cloned or something. It's like
the name has something to do with the afterlife. Tyrone, as I understand, it's a powerful
There
name.
it is.
Vinny, just speaking of names, but I didn't have it on anything that we were talking about, but what's it, that Kandahar, which is in what
Kandahar, that's Vince's shit.
Yeah, but do you know where the names derived from?
It's like Afghanistan or something like that.
No, well that's where the city's based at, but I guess it's one of the places that Alexander the Great took over, kind of conquered at some point.
Damn.
So it's a derivative of the name Alexandria. It used to be something like Kandahar.
Yeah.
But I heard on the radio, and they said what he was doing was he's starting like all these little cities called Alexandria in all different parts of the world.
Everywhere.
Kandahar of Alexandria.
There's so many Alexandria.
But they mentioned it today. I just thought it was worth bringing up right now.
That's dope.
It was interesting.
Forever in our minds.
Cool.
That would be cool to actually start another city called Alexandria too.
Well, there's a bunch of them though, but there was that one at the farthest edge, the last one he made.
Ours would be the best.
He died there. So like Alto or something like that.
Oh yeah, and since we were talking about movies, I was thinking about something else, and it's not just because he looks interesting to me, but they're saying that they're releasing it on time, even with all the SAG stuff going off. But I guess basically the production company or whatever agreed to pay out whatever percentages or stuff the writers or the actors were asking for on this movie.
If they meet the criteria, their production's good.
Yeah,
as long as they meet it, the
demands.
demand.
But the movie's supposed to be pretty good, and this is one I did want to play a little bit of that I'll throw on right now.
So no AI.
That's it. So yeah, no, John. As long as it's not like some big ass production company that refuses to meet those demands, like A24, they're still making movies right now, literally right now.
They make some badass movies
because they're meeting the
demands.
They met the demands of the SAG AFTRA.
You busy tonight?
Oh yeah,
You
I've been
wanna
wanting to watch
turn,
this.
Yeah, I think
My
it was
mom
good.
leaves at 9, so you're 10.
What happens if you put your balls on that hand?
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is I saw this, but you know what I didn't like about this? Even though I haven't seen this trailer, and I'll shut up. I'll wait.
I think I know what you mean.
was the end of the
I'm almost
segment.
on the same page.
The other hand's just out there.
Hey, but this is just a trailer, man.
Yeah.
White people shit, man, I tell you.
All right, let's do this.
Say that? Is that what white people do?
Do you believe that is white people
You
shit?
know the drill.
Is it?
White people will put their balls on it.
Well, let me tell you when it's done. When it's done.
Talk to me.
Haley,
I'm gonna stop there because I don't like showing
Sure.
trailers.
Suspense.
Yeah, no, it some of it does, or you know, a lot of these movies they look kind of silly, but I trust this company that's doing it. And I've heard that the early reviews and things like that are pretty good about being pretty spooky.
David, here we go. Or have you seen this before? You've seen this before, though.
Wait, is this movie out already?
Or something like
the monkey paw. The monkey paw.
So it's
where was that in? Where was that in?
That's an old tale to begin with, but it's been in a bunch of things.
It's been a bunch.
It's an old tale. That's just like an old story. Like
no, it's an old paw.
Yeah, the monkey's paw, but it's it's something that's been recreated multiple times. I think maybe even starting with like the Twilight Zone or something.
It might have been like Are You Afraid of the Dark? Are You Afraid of the Dark or something like that?
Yeah, I think this is a little different, but it's because this isn't like Wishes. I think this is something where like it throws you into another reality or something goes on, and they almost have a demon come back out. I was reading up on online, but it didn't give me too much of it. But that's it.
So it's like a DMT trip.
Could be 10 minutes.
You know, if when I die, it is a DMT trip. I would face that being with a sense of wonder the same way. And maybe, you know, it wouldn't be so scary in a way, right? Because I think that we're afraid of mortality, right, John?
Oh, death is just the beginning, man. Didn't you say the mummy?
No, I did, but I forgot the moral of the story, I guess.
But have you seen those funerals where they get the bodies out and they put them like on motorcycles, or they'll put them like on like other things that they love
on top of them?
Yeah, they have like people like actually having a striptease, and you're like, this is like what this person loved to do, and people are mourning this way. Like people are crying.
Beautiful though.
I think my wife would be mad that I love to do all that stuff. She didn't know about it. It's like, what the fuck were you doing?
What the?
He didn't even like riding motorcycles. Why are you putting him on there?
You would never.
Never. Parachute on his back? No.
What is a parachute on his back? He said he always wanted to go skydiving. He's like, you know.
That's a conundrum of celebrating life and death, or death and life, you know. But I'm just saying.
But every breath we take, man, every breath we take, we die a little bit, man.
We die.
Once we're born and we're taking the gift of death, right? Once that first breath is taken. So I mean, it's just a part of life you kind of have to deal with. Now,
that little monster you have back there, that green monster, little Frankenstein.
Yeah, see that? He's like, I died and I came back green.
And he came back pretty good, pretty good. Came back pretty good.
What's our time, fellas?
Wow. I think we should probably call it in a second.
Anything else?
I don't even know what the hell that.
There was one other thing, and I'm not going to jump into it like showing previews or anything like that, but it's a show definitely worth watching. I think this season they really stepped it up with one of the episodes, and it's that show, The Bear. Have you seen that movie?
I saw some of it. I kind of stopped watching because I used to.
So like I
street and like it just gets me all tense and kind of pissed off like when I used to.
Yeah, no, I do like it because it is like that and fast paced, and it does kind of feel like it. Once you get through that first season, you'll really like it. But this new season, there's this one dinner scene when it flashes back when he's younger, and it's like it's not super young, but maybe like a year or two younger, and it shows his family.
It's about cooking.
The show is mainly about cooking, like opening up a restaurant, and his brother died, so he kind of inherited it, and he's taking over it. But there's a scene when it's all based in like Chicago, but there's a scene when him and his family are all around, and since it goes back, you don't see a lot of his family like in the movie or in the show. They're all really big actors, and they bring them in kind of slowly, and then it'll show his mom who she is at the end, and I don't want to ruin it because it's definitely so
the second season is definitely worth watching.
I think the first season's awesome too. You just got to push it through. The first season, and then the second one starts off a little slow, but right when it gets up to that scene, it completely changes. And it's fucking badass. That's why it's winning all these awards and shit. But that scene with the family, and you see everybody who's in there and who's playing who, as a cousin or an uncle.
Yeah, Bob Odenkirk's in there, right?
Huh? So I don't want to ruin that part either.
Yeah.
But that's why I kind of want to watch it because I saw a little preview of like something.
No, he's fantastic, and he's like, well,
oh no way, that's
like when it gets to it. But
I made him a chicken salad when I worked in a restaurant.
Yeah.
He's like, he made the best chicken salad I ever tasted.
Back when I was the bear, I made him a chicken.
Oh
yeah, there you go.
But that's it. That's all I got. If you guys want to
sign off.
Anything else?
Guys? You make sure you eat some good chicken out there, guys. Anywhere you
want
go.
To talk about podcasts real quick? What your top 5 are real fast or what?
Oh, mine are all over the place.
My favorite podcast is that green tank top you're wearing there, Vince. That's my favorite podcast.
This one?
Picklecast?
Oh yeah, look at
that. Mine is Conspiracy Social Club. I absolutely love them. That's Brian Callen and Sam Tripoli. You guys know I have a hard on for Sam Tripoli and Brian Callen. Of course, Rogan. And then the rest of them are just Sam Tripoli ones. Or I like the Culture Wars with Tim Pool.
Oh,
that one's pretty cool.
That far right beanie guy. He's that far right.
You might know who. I don't know if you know who he is. He's not a Republican. Okay, stop it.
Yeah.
No, but I also like Conspiracy Social Club is probably my favorite though because it's just like
I like more of the interview comedy stuff like personally, but like Joe Rogan's probably the one I get into where they talk about multiple different crazy subjects. Favorite one is probably Conan O'Brien. I think he's just fucking funny. I just like
Conan.
The Conan one's funny. I like the Justin Long one. Smart List that I was telling you guys last week with Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes, and Will Arnett.
Who's the other guy?
Someone
else like. What's his name?
Sean Hayes.
Theo. Is it Theo?
Oh,
Theo Vaughn?
So I like Theo Vaughn too because he does
Yeah,
a
he's
lot
hilarious.
of stuff.
He's funny.
Yeah, but he does a lot of stuff just on his own, so he's just going off on his own banter too, which I like for a while.
Shout out to Theo.
But now it makes sense why all these actors and all these other like Hollywood people are making podcasts because they weren't getting no money from like the studios. I'm like, why are these bastards not starting podcasts? And they're all like talking to each other.
But a lot of them weren't able to do stuff on
Smart.
TV either, you know, and because of COVID. So that's why a lot of these podcasts came out during that time.
Yeah,
You get
because
to
now
know
you're like
them a little bit
everywhere.
more. You know, you get to know the actual actor instead of them just acting, unless they're like doing some cause thing, like, okay, guys, let me tell you this, blah blah blah. You know, but if you see a podcast and they're just kind of talking, you know, like us, like we're just talking like we normally would, like, you know, when we're all together. But
yeah, because I have like for my podcast, man, they're all over the place. See, I don't even like I start off with what Russell Brand.
Oh,
then
yeah.
I
You
go
have like
into
a whole like itinerary.
Yeah, like Steven Crowder, and then I'll go to Alex Jones to get that kind of stuff. But then I
get the
also
Alex
like to
Jones
go
in.
to, then I'll go to the other realm, and then I'll go to Destiny, or I'll go to like these Dave Pac-Man and stuff like that. Get that left field, and then I go back to the middle with like Tim Pool. So I like to like hear them all throughout the spectrum. You know what I mean? Then I got Owen Shore. You know what I mean? Doing like
Sam
just-
Harris,
Sam-
right? You
Sam-
big Sam Harris fan?
I listened to
Sam Harris. You imagine?
Yeah, he's all right. Sam Harris, all right. Yeah.
Dude, Sam Harris said like
He's got some thoughts.
He said something about like he's okay with people killing kids as long as Trump's not president. I was like,
Well, I don't know.
what the hell?
That's a bit. Yeah, I don't know.
And on that note,
Yeah, on that note.
let's go.
All right, then I guess it's that time.
I always
Well,
think.
thank you all for
think
tuning
first-
in. And last episode, I know we jam-packed everything in, so this one we're just gonna keep it simple. Stay tuned for a word from our sponsors.
Hello everybody, I want to take a minute to talk about Golden Seal Creations. Inspired by music and mountains, this California-based artist is born and raised in the San Fernando Valley. You can usually find Cecile playing or coaching a local baseball team with a cup of coffee in her hand, working on a project, or probably looking for her keys after a game. I mean, check out those keychains, right? So if you're looking for a unique handmade gift, check out this maker of modern macrame and our dear friend of the show at Golden Seal Creations.
Good night, everyone.
All right.
People are the best.
All right.